Hey everyone, it's Savannah and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to get into all things 2025 in Disney Dreamlight Valley, things I'm looking forward to, my plans for my valley, and how I am staying organized. I'm looking forward to exciting new star paths and meeting new characters. This year we are expecting characters from the Aladdin, Alice in Wonderland, and what looks to be Peter Pan's world. So hopefully we see some of those new characters this year, bringing us new items and fun new quests and interactions in the valley. I also have purchased the Storybook Vale expansion pass, and I'm looking forward to continuing my adventure there with Maleficent in the summer. Along with the new characters coming this year, I am also finding myself trying to manage the three worlds, Dreamlight Valley, Eternity Isle, and the Storybook Vale, along with these new floating islands we have too. This is a lot of real estate for me to work with. I love decorating in this game, so I am going to be spending a lot of time decorating all of these areas this year. The last time my valley was fully decorated was in October of 2024, and then we all know that the evil queen came to my valley on Halloween and she deleted everything. So we're starting over in the new year. I have been getting myself organized, and I've also recently begun design planning. I find design planning really helpful to me personally when I go about designing my valley. Having ideas ahead of time and well thought out plans really helps me to stay motivated to continue my designs because I can kind of see an end result. And also it helps me to get started, see everything I have to work with, how can it all go together. And I find that it's really helpful to fully decorating my valley each time I decide to. So to get started with this process this time, as now I'm really trying to stay focused on really having my storage organized and organizing each biome and making sure that it's not a horrible chore every time I need to put things away. So I have been making many videos on my organization in this game, how I like to sort out my storage. I highly recommend you check those videos out if you'd like some inspiration on how you can set up a really nice storage system that might work for you. In addition to having interior storage, I have now begun making some exterior storage areas where I can quickly drop materials and also keep these areas looking aesthetic for the rest of my valley too. So I recently just cleaned up my valley fully, and I went around each biome and also put a large chest in each biome. And then as I was picking items up, I would drop them in the storage chest, and that's just gonna stay in each of those biomes. I have started making these little storage hubs in my biomes, and this is where this chest is located. I can easily drop the materials into it as I am gathering them, and it keeps it really nice and organized. And then once I have full stacks of materials in these chests, I will bring them into my interior home storage. I do have a full video breaking down each of these little outdoor storage areas, so I recommend checking that out if you want some more information on this, if you want to get a closer look at it and see some more things explained there. I do have 3 detailed videos going through all of the rooms in my house on my channel. So basically the first floor of my house is all of my Dreamlight Valley materials. I have a room for my flowers, a room for my gems, a room for all food and fish, and then a resources room. And then I basically just copy and pasted that formula on the other 2 floors, and I made a different floor for each expansion pass. So basically the first floor is Dreamlight Valley, the second floor is all of my Rift in Time Eternity Isle stuff, and then the third floor is all of my Storybook Vale stuff. And ideally I would just continue that pattern, adding a floor for each new area in the game. So getting organized to this point has been really important for me in this game. Moving forward, I think it's just going to make things so much easier for me. And now that we have everything cleaned up, we can actually design everything. So let's get into my plans for designing my valley in 2025, plus all the other worlds we have to work with. I do also have a video about how I start designing each area, basically how I design biomes start to finish. So that might be a good starting point to you if you're brand new or want some help with fully decorating an area. So I do go into more details about this in that video. Basically, I have lately been going through all of the houses because we have so many villagers, we have so many houses from the premium shop, and lately I've been trying to group the houses together based on similar aesthetics across all the biomes. And I'm basically making mini mood boards in each area. I'm pulling different houses I might like to try using in that area, and then also going through items, foliage, and other things I might want to use to help decorate this area. Planning this out before I actually start decorating helps me to visualize everything ahead of time and make sure that it's all gonna work together, make sure I have enough items and houses and materials to use in this area, and to also make sure that I hopefully don't change my mind later on and come up with a better idea. For instance, if I were to decorate a particular house in a certain area and then be like, oh wait, it would have looked so much better over there. Why am I just deciding this now? So it helps me to stay focused on my designing and work towards an end goal. So I have been turning a lot of my biomes into these mini mood boards. Let me show you what I am considering doing for my upcoming decorating this year. So let's start with Dreamlight Valley, specifically the plaza. For the plaza, I have placed Lady's house as well as Charlotte's house, and I initially thought Charlotte's house was gonna stay in the glade, but I decided to move her to the plaza and give Ladies some company. Once I saw these houses together, they just screamed Wisteria Lane from Desperate Housewives to me, which is basically just a very quintessential American neighborhood that has perfect weather all the time. All the homes are really exquisite and all of the gardens are well maintained. And I'm going to try to make a Wisteria Lane-esque area in my plaza. I've moved Scrooge's out. Remy has been moved. We'll get into that later. And yeah, I'm imagining gardens in this area, really manicured hedges and plants, and just really clean, pristine plaza vibes that remind me of the show Desperate Housewives. So that is the plan for the plaza. Let's move into the meadow. Last time I decorated my valley, the meadow was definitely a fairy Tinkerbell kind of theme, and I do kind of want to do that again. But we have so many amazing mushroom items and items I'd like to bring from Ever After and use those in the meadow to rebuild Pixie Hollow. Maybe we'll see Tinkerbell added with whatever they have cooking up for Skull Rock. Who knows? But either way, a Pixie Hollow inspired build I think is going to be absolutely necessary in Peaceful Meadow again. I recently moved Merlin back from Eternity Isle. He has enjoyed his vacation, but it's time to come back to the valley. And I think I'm gonna try to make a really cute area for Fairy Godmother and Merlin to hang out in the Peaceful Meadow together. I think a lot of us ship them together, and I think that both of their homes could really suit the fairy Pixie Hollow, Tinkerbell kind of theme I'm going for. I've also included homes like the Fairy Bloss home, Tinkerbell's house, and the new greenhouse cottage. I haven't worked out much for Dazzle Beach aside from keeping it a beach theme. Revolutionary, I know. I have Stitch's house here, Moana lives here, the Lilo and Stitch house from their bundle on the beach, and the beach house. So I'm thinking just like cool beach vibes over here. Don't really have any other plans. I'm really excited to decorate in the Glade of Trust. I have decided to make this Tiana's Swamp Domain. She is the queen of the Glade, so I have moved Tiana's house, Tiana's restaurant. I also placed the new flower shop down there. It looks really cute. I have Tiana's stall over there, and I'm thinking of just going all out with the swamp and New Orleans feel. I've also added Mickey and Goofy's house down here, and surprisingly, I think we'll be able to bring it all together. I'm really excited to make this biome. I think it's gonna turn out really cool, and I'm probably the last person to turn the glade into a swamp for Tiana, but inspiration has finally struck. So I have about half of Sunlit planned out. I did not know what I was gonna do with Sunlit, and I kind of still don't. However, I needed a place for Remy's restaurant and Scrooge's, and since I really didn't have any other ideas for Sunlit, I've decided to turn that into a shopping district, and a lot of the Mythopia trees and new foliage items I found look really pretty in Sunlit. So basically, I fell in love with the placement of having Remy's by this big pond in Sunlit. It's a really nice location, and I'm planning on making this into a really nice upscale, romantic kind of shopping area where you might like to take a date and go out to Remy's, do some shopping while the sun is setting. I just have this whole plan in my head of like pretty pink and orange skylines and all of the orange lily pads floating in the restaurant, and I think it's gonna turn out really nice. However, I have no ideas for the other side of Sunlit. We don't have to fill up every single thing, but I just don't have any other ideas for the other area. However, this is what I'm thinking for Sunlit currently. I haven't fully fleshed out the Forgotten Lands. I really like this corner. I've kind of started setting up with all of these purple cottages as like, I don't know, 3 mysterious witches up here. And then I also have Jack and Sally's house, which we could definitely do like a Halloween kind of theme over there too. Don't really know what I want to do for the rest of the Forgotten Lands. Same goes for my Forest of Valor. Now the Forest of Valor is kind of a hot mess situation currently. I have moved Mulan's house and the Turning Red Temple into the Forest of Valor, and I came up with this whole scheme over there of items and foliage that I think is gonna look really cool with pops of red and the cherry blossoms. However, I also am trying to do the other half of the Forest of Valor with some of this like half icy stuff and stuff from the new Star Path, but I just don't think that all of that stuff is gonna work. I might decide to scrap that and maybe use it in the Frosted Heights or even on the Frosted Heights Island. So that is still up in the air, but I think I am gonna do kind of a Mulan theme for the Forest of Valor. For the Frosted Heights, I really don't know what I'm doing. There are so many houses for Frosted Heights that kind of only work there, but a lot of them don't all work together. So I'm still kind of figuring out what I want to do up there, whether I keep things on the actual valley level or move them up to the floating islands. I've not yet decided. There's a lot of random items I want to play around with and use, especially like the big blue mushrooms and those blue fiddleheads. I think will look so cool around the Frosted Heights. So those are some of my loose plans for Dreamlight Valley. Let's get into Storybook Vale. I'm very excited to start decorating in Storybook Vale, and mapping some things out has been very fun. So I have moved Minnie and Daisy into Teapot Falls, and I think that their homes work really nicely with the whimsy of all of the teapots over there. And until we get Alice this year, hopefully we meet Alice this year, that will definitely become her domain once Alice is in the game. But until then, Minnie and Daisy are going to take up residency there and look over that area. The Fallen Fortress is where I have placed my main home on Storybook Vale. I'm using the pink castle, and this is where I've moved a bunch of my princesses, and I'm going to make a really pretty princess area for us all up there. So I have Belle and Beast's castle, Ariel's castle, and then I have 2 castle homes of my own up there too currently. For the Beanstalk Marshes, I'm basically turning that area into like my bad gals villain club, and I'm gonna have Maleficent up there. Obviously, I've moved Ursula into the little lagoon there. I have also popped up Lady Tremaine's castle and finally got it to kind of look good in the corner with some dead trees around it. And then I also was playing around with having the spooky castle up there, and I think it's gonna work out really nicely with a lot of purple touches and just making it feel like kind of spooky up there. I really ended up liking having Vanellope's house at the start of the Wild Woods here, so I've decided that this is gonna be a fantasy candy area. And I've decided that Vanellope's house was never ugly. We just had nowhere to put it because it looks really pretty in Ever After. And I've paired it with the Sweet House, and I can't wait to start decorating this area. I do need to complete quests with Flynn to get rid of these green mushrooms, and I'll also need to work with Hades so I can remove some obstacles in Mythopia but I'm really excited to decorate this part of the Wild Woods. As far as my plans for the rest of the Wild Woods, I currently have Merida's house that I've started laying out some archery items, and then I also tucked away Rapunzel's castle here. Now in this area of the Wild Woods, there's also this part where it kind of meets the Library of Lore, and you have this kind of weird courtyard on either side of the library. So on the side closest to Ever After, I have decided to move Flynn Rider's home there, and it looks so cool. I really love this little area. I've also added in Belle's Library Cottage, and I'm just making like a small little shopping area, like place to get a book and grab a coffee at this little tavern run by Flynn Rider, and maybe read a book around the fountain. I think it's gonna come together really nicely. And then on the other side of the Library of Lore, where we have Mythopia meeting the library, I have ended up placing my French bakery. I really needed a home for the French bakery, and it kind of works here. I don't know what else I can put with it to really make it all go together, but that's the idea I have rolling so far. I have a few random buildings placed throughout Mythopia and in the bind, but none that are really worth sharing. I have pretty much all the autumnal houses you could think of in the bind and some random miscellaneous homes in Mythopia, but I would love to see more buildings added to the game that could work in Mythopia specifically, because I just need more buildings to be able to place over there. So now let's talk about Eternity Isle. Well, the thing is, I have moved many homes off of Eternity Isle that I had decorated with over there originally. Some of them I've moved to Storybook Vale. Some have moved back to Dreamlight Valley. So Eternity Isle is kind of a mess now. There's some open areas, there's some randomly built areas. So I think a lot of Eternity Isle will change. The only thing I can pretty much guarantee is that there's going to be a really nice area built for Aladdin and Jasmine at some point in the Glittering Dunes. This is also home to the music festival on my channel known as Teachella. So we may have to move Teachella to possibly a floating island. For my floating islands, I really don't have that many ideas. I think for the plaza, I might be turning that into an amusement park, but it also might have some stages for Teachella there. So we will see what happens. So yeah, those are pretty much all of the ideas I have planned for my Valley designs thus far. But I think this will be kind of funny to look back at the end of the year and see if I actually built these things, or maybe they never happened. I think I'm gonna build all these things. I think it's gonna be fun. So subscribe if you're new, follow along. Let's design all these wonderful areas together on stream. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!